Hello, everyone. Welcome to ELI, the place where you get your daily dose of inspiration for entrepreneurship. And today we have with us Siddhartha Chandurkar, who is the founder of Shephertz, which provides a platform for enterprises to enable them with agile and incremental digital transformation. Hi, Siddharth. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
I would request you to introduce yourself to our audience and tell us a bit about the venture that you are building.
Yeah. So hi everyone. I'm Siddharth. Um, uh, I'm the founder and CEO of Shephertz. We started way back in 2010. Uh, we are a little over 14 years since we've started this venture. We primarily are a product company having products in the AI, API, and big data space. Um, our intent is that specifically with the rebirth of AI, how we can participate in this acceleration and provide tools through AI and new age technologies, which will solve real life problems. That's our intention. Most of our products do that. They solve a real business problem, giving value. We are a global company having customers all over the world, including India. All the product is made in India. We started here. We also have a 0 mile in our office, and we've written "Made in India," selling globally. Having said that, we are expanding all over the world. So intent is to grow and penetrate in all the markets.
Got it. I understand that your company works actively into the process of hiring, and it also provides platform for remote work. Should I say, is it right to say that your target clients would be companies who do remote work and hire remotely?
So we, as I said, we started in 2010, right? And we have many products in API and big data and so on and so forth. But during COVID, we saw an opportunity where, especially companies which work and manage confidential data, their workforce was forced to work from home because of the situation, right? It was an unprecedented situation. Nobody knew what to do, right? And thankfully, we had solutions which could solve that problem. And that's how the genesis of Work Anywhere happened. I mean, the genesis of Work Anywhere happened that we created a product which will solve the problem of people working from home. How can you enable that? Having said that, thankfully, we didn't name it Work Anywhere. Sorry, remote working. We called it Work Anywhere. Work Anywhere is today not only used for remote workforce, but also within office or hybrid, right? See, it's a new world post-COVID. Today, a lot of people, some people joined offices during COVID and never came to a physical office.
Mm.
Continue to work from home. And they continue to work from Goa or Himachal, or they're traveling or from their native towns, right? So for them, they have never seen office. Uh, so, so we thought that it's a new world and you require new solutions. The same going to the office and swiping your card won't work. And hence, we wanted to reimagine how the next generation work environment will be there, and that's how Work Anywhere was born. Same goes for Talent Anywhere. That's a new addition to our product line. Uh, because of what happened during COVID, um, what we saw that there is skill globalization which has happened. Today, if a person is staying a mile away from your house, from your office, but not coming to office, then if that person is working from any other location, it doesn't matter, because as it is, the person is joining remotely, right? And it has opened up many things. You have access to talent to smaller towns. There are challenges with people who are working from because of their personal for any kind of personal reason they can't come to bigger towns or come to the office. Access to people who are from tier two towns or to different countries, right? You might want a marketeer, and that person might be in Indonesia, for example, or you might want to hire a graphics person in US for that matter. So, uh, is there a solution which will enable basically how you can bring a platform where talent meets opportunity actually? And that's where how the thought process for Talent Anywhere started. But what we realized once we researched on the incumbent players in terms of recruitment or job portals, from past 20 years, there has not been any change.
Mm,
The sites look the same, the hiring process remains the same. It's still a challenge to find the right person, both sides, right? A candidate trying to find the right job, and enterprises trying to find, or corporates trying to find right candidates. And we felt that this has to be relooked. A lot of new entrepreneurs are not looking at this area, considering that it's a solved problem. But we thought that it has to be relooked with the lens of AI, right? Because Gen AI brings you so many tools which can make this process much more efficient and and productive, right? So that's how Talent Anywhere was born, and we brought a lot of AI tools which will help not only the candidates but also the enterprise recruiters and also contract to hire vendors who provide uh, uh, teams on time-based contracts, right? So we cater to all these four actors actually.
got it. Uh, the first question that comes to my mind is when you describe the product work anywhere. So there is a reason why companies, after doing some amount of remote work, they got back to the hybrid model or a regular office going model. And in fact, now 90% of the companies are back to normal, going to office every day, 5 days a week. So there were some underlying challenges for the enterprises, like you rightly mentioned, there was a issue of data security, and when you are floating data outside your organization, so there is a chance of data breach and so on. And there were other issues like people may work at other companies as well, do moonlighting, and so on. So challenges are like n number of challenges. But can you explain how your product is solving these different areas of working anywhere?
Yeah, so we have a we experienced something very contrary to this. We thought that post-COVID, this business won't be there. It would be like a, mask type of business or a sanitizer. I mean, you saw an upsurge of
Yes.
kind of items getting sold during COVID, and now you don't see. If you go to a medical store earlier, they were kept at the top aisle, and now they are not there, right? But what we have seen is we have experienced that our sales have increased by multifold post COVID actually, because a lot of companies realize that they save a lot of money. Number one, which is real estate cost, they save energy cost, they save commutation, not only the cost but also the time which gets spent on commutation, specifically in new in bigger cities. Also on the workforce side, they also get a lot of advantage. They get time to spend with the family. They can at the same time contribute to the company and work from their own native place, right? Also access to talent. So we also hired a lot of people in our management, and they are all working from home. So today, Shepherd is 100% work from home. All of us work from home, and a lot of companies have realized. Having said that, it's not like a one size fits all. For certain roles, this will be applicable, and hence, we our vision is to make work anywhere like the like what co-working spaces have done for startups or bigger companies. They give you all the infrastructure to run your company, right? You go and run your company, but all the infrastructure comes from the co-working space providers. Same as the intent of Work Anywhere is to provide a platform which will enable people to learn, which will enable companies to manage their teams agnostic of their locations.
Hmm.
So remote working being, I mean, the challenges which you listed are real, right? Where they manage confidential data, and sometimes it's not only your data; it is your customers' customer data, and and there are so many legalities attached with it. So we have a large component of compliance. through AI, which we detect whether it's the same person who is logged in, and whether the person is trying to do any kind of violation. We detect that. But Work Anywhere has many other components, and a lot of companies use our product for other aspects. There are certain industries where compliance is absolutely necessary, right? And that's where the compliance part comes in. But the other companies see the value of Work Anywhere as if that somebody says, I want to work from home or from anywhere. You just get on W Anywhere platform, and you're all set, right? It's like today we are having a Zoom call, right? We said, okay, let's get on a Zoom call and discuss. So that's the vision, that we need to reimagine and provide a platform, provide tools. So we have a section called productivity enhancing apps. So we have created some 11 to 12 apps which helps the person to increase that person's productivity. It enables the person, provides tools for the person to perform better. We are also bringing in AI, which will tell the person, if you would have done this much, you would have become better. Instead of telling that, no, no, you are not doing this, right?
Mhm.
But telling them that how you can become better. So it is to also help the person to become better. So that's the vision. As I mentioned, we really need to reimagine how the next generation workforce will be there with meta and all the augmented this thing, where people might be in virtual rooms where you want to work with, because there is one definite negative touch point that you a negative aspect of this is that you lose touch point with your workforce. I mean, there is a culture which an organization has. If somebody is joining remotely, you never meet that person. How will you percolate that culture which is in the organization? How will you motivate that person? How will you interact that person when things are going well also, and maybe not going well? So we have spent a lot of time adding such kind of features which will help in engagement, and trying to even gamify that this thing, that they don't feel that difference that they're working from a remote place. So that's the overall vision. Compliance is one definite angle, which is a big problem in certain industries, as I said, but it is not something which is across, right? Everybody's not worried about that part. But yeah, so that's the this thing, that people should have that kind of flexibility from wherever they want to work. At the same time, enterprise should have the flexibility to hire from wherever they want. People at the same time have at least same level of productivity, if not more. But
Mhm.
what we have seen is that the productivity has become higher actually. The matrices which are coming to us, companies have touched 96% plus productivity during COVID time. So it's not that all people don't want to work, right? People have shown higher productivity when working remotely.
Got it. Any interesting success stories or case studies from your list of clienteles that everybody should hear about?
So I think during COVID itself, it was a very challenging time for us, because when our Prime Minister had announced that there would be a lockdown, and I was just watching TV and working on something else, and I
Mhm.
suddenly realized that we had a lot of BFSI customers at that time, customers in the banking, finance, security, insurance space. So this thought came in my mind, that how people will work now from home when they manage confidential data, and that's how it started. And we uh, so though the AI existed with us, our first AI service we launched in 2012, which was a machine learning based solution way back in 2012. We had earlier also launched facial recognition based attendance. So it's been pre-COVID times. So we were already in the AI space, specifically in the computer vision area. So the building blocks of the solution already existed with us.
Mhm.
And we created a solution and created a PPT and a slide that night itself, and shared it with the customer, shared with one of our partners. Majority of our revenue comes through our partners. Uh, when I got up the next day, the world had changed, and we had got tens of meeting requests, and the product was just an idea at that time, right? We also didn't realize. So the product market fit happened day one, and companies were running helter skelter. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know how long it will last, whether it will last for 10 days, 15. If you remember, it was for a 3 weeks. I think the lockdown was there, and then it got extended, and it further got extended, right?
Yes.
So business continuity roles got formed in these companies, and they themselves were. uh, grappling with this whole issue, and they didn't know how to approach this issue. So the product was born in this kind of situation, right? And customers really helped us. They were lenient with us, but the AI was very strong, right? So they were lenient with us, and they they provided feedback, and product evolved during COVID times. And mind you, even our team was also at that time went out to the native towns, right? So we were also facing the same challenges which other organizations were facing. And that's why at that time we decided, yeah, let's work from home. What
Mhm.
are challenges which we feel the same challenges other companies will feel, and let's try to solve those problems. So this product actually came from a need and a situation of this kind of unprecedented situation which happened during COVID, right?
Got it. You spoke about computer vision. I think many companies are now actively using this technology, which is also a category of AI. Companies are using it to monitor their workforce, especially in a remote setting where you cannot see whether a person is not working or not working. I think computer vision has become a great technology to understand their usage patterns and determine whether somebody is actively working or not dedicating as much time as it is required. So, are you by any chance using such technologies or any products around that?
Yes. So, as I mentioned, in certain industries, right, where they manage confidential data, uh, that possibility is there, and we provide solutions for that. But as I said, it's not something which is applicable everywhere. It is only applicable where you manage that kind of confidential data, and that industry is already regulated even within office itself, right? So within office also a lot of companies have to submit their mobile phones outside, right? Because they manage banking data or health related data,
Hmm.
right? So we try to recreate that kind of situation when the person is working in a remote location, right? So yes, through computer vision, those problems are resolved through our products for these kind of industries.
Got it. Uh, Now, curious to understand one thing. I think before COVID, your company was more centered around the APIs business. I think almost
Yeah.
110 billion API calls every year.
Yeah.
And I mean, how are you, transitioning from a API centered business to now getting into the space of recruitment and workforce and everything. So, are you in a journey of from a service company to product company transition, or how do you package everything together? How are you positioning yourself from the older positioning to the newer positioning?
So the older position is also still active, right? So we became profitable based on our existing business, and we funded this new initiative through our existing revenue, right? So so that will always continue for us because that's what is we started. So those products we continue to sell, right, and offer. But from a positioning perspective, we created two separate sites. So W Anywhere is a fundamentally different website. We didn't mix it with Shepherds. And talentanywhere.ai is also a separate property, so to speak, right? We did not mix it because exactly for the reason what you mentioned, these two things didn't combine. But for any organization as older as ours, right, 14 plus years of organization, by time you find new revenue streams, new opportunities come in, right? It's as I mentioned, it's a rebirth of AI. I always say this is a term which is used by many other people, but I've been saying it since many years that AI will have similar impact what electricity had. So for internet had in our times and what electricity had in our parents' time. similar kind of impact AI will have in our children's time. So we need to participate in this acceleration. If you don't participate in the beginning, understand the challenges, the regulations attached with it. I mean, there are challenges which will come, right? We are just starting it. We are at a very nascent stage. So you evolve and add your product line and new revenue streams.
mm,
Uh, so that you're aligned with what is going on in the market. You can't stay at that you have those products and you sell. Of course, you evolve those products also. So, for example, our earlier product line were most focused towards developers, right? So the APIs help developers to build apps. Uh, Now you can see through ChatGPT and Olama and other Claude and other Gemini
yes.
and other platforms, Copilot, the development has fundamentally changed. Today,
Mm,
most of the development is done by the AI itself.
yes.
So if one is just stuck with the same product and same technology, I mean, you'll be left behind. So
Mm,
what we have done is we have taken in, that's why I mentioned that 2012 we launched our first recommendation service. So we have taken the step, computer vision we launched. DigiYatra has made facial recognition popular, but we launched our facial recognition based attendance systems around 6 and years before. I don't remember the exact date. Uh, so we have always tried to be one step ahead and experimented. So we call Shephertz Labs. In Shephertz Labs, we try to experiment things and talk with customers. Would you like to? So, and that's how Work Anywhere came in. There was
mm,
no market study done, right? One night there was COVID announced, and we went to the customer and said, "Would you like this kind of? Is this is the problem?" And they said, "This is a huge problem for us." And we had to ultimately say no to customers because there were so many customers coming in. We didn't know how can we handle so many requirements, and it won't be a product anymore because each
mm,
one will come from a different angle. And since we decided to go with few customers and added their features, and based on that, the product got evolved. So that's how the company has evolved in its 14 plus years of journey, and we'll continue to do more investments. So our investments have now shifted towards AI. If I say that the ratio of investment which was done on our existing business,
mm,
that we are more shifting towards, and Talent Anywhere is one of this feature, right? For example, when we will talk about Talent Anywhere, we wanted to completely disrupt this space, and we brought in an AI avatar which will take an interview, and not only take an interview but do an assessment, right? So the intent was not to have another job portal, but how can we bring AI tools to participate in this whole AI journey, right?
got it. Uh, since you said that you like or you try to stay one step ahead of the industry and the market, so what are the different trends that you have been seeing in the remote work, in talent acquisition, and I think the current model, work anywhere, hire anywhere, they are still, I think 4 or 5 years ago they were new technologies, but now it has become a common thing. Almost every company is using some form of remote working or hybrid working solution. And now new technologies are coming up like the AI agents, and you rightly mentioned the generative AI is now writing codes. So what is next in your mind? Like, what are the new trends that you are seeing, and how are you, planning to capitalize on them?
Yeah. So one disclaimer that we try to be ahead of the market, but yeah, always you're not that lucky, right? In Work Anywhere, we were lucky. I mean, many times in my entrepreneurial, what should I say, professional career, I've done many mistakes, right? So many times you think this will work, it is going to work for sure. Why not? It will work, but it doesn't happen. Sometimes it happens that you're lucky, right? So but the intent is you don't stop trying to be ahead of the market, right? You always keep trying. Coming back to your question, I feel, see, first of all, we have to see AI as an enabler. We should not see it as a competition, right? A lot of people are spending time. Of course, there will be an impact because initially there will be an impact, but to see it as an enabler. I sometimes take it an example that it is like a Tendulkar's bat. I mean,
Mhm.
if a Tendulkar's bat is in my hand, I mean, I won't be able to score runs even if I have a Tendulkar's bat. So
Right.
there has to be a Tendulkar behind that bat to score runs,
Mhm.
right? So AI is like a tool, right, which is there, and you require people, humans, right, who will use that AI in such a way that it will help them in their business being faster, efficient, cost effective, or whatever, right, or being better. Um, uh, there are so many things, so much research is going on, right? And with the compute power increasing at this pace, and the amount of data, the food for AI is basically the data which is there. The amount of data which is today in your mobile phone, that much data even a big bank did not have actually.
Right.
Right. So today you have terabytes, you have such large mobile phones, like they're almost like laptops. So, with this kind of data and the compute power which is there and which is ever growing, um, there are so many things which will happen. We are at a very, very early stage, very, very early stage, meaning we actually don't know also what will come forward. It's very difficult to even forecast that in next 2 years how this technology will be used. See, we are talking about LLM and all these models, right? That's a big part, right? That's the base of this thing. But the applications which will come above this, right, be it in the
Mm.
form of agents or from another bots or avatars or whatever, that is something to be seen actually. People
Right.
today are uh, reassessing everything what they are doing, that whether AI can help. And be it education of children to higher education to everything what we do, to work, to games, to businesses, everything AI will come in. It will be like electricity, as I mentioned. I mean,
Mhm.
today, if you buy any new phone, there will be some AI in it, right? You go
Yes.
and buy a new phone, they will have either changing the images or photographs using AI. It will have voice to text is already there.
Yes.
There's already agents with whom you can talk on your mobile phone. So, but still, we are at a very early stage, and one needs to really keep in touch with the market, seeing what is happening, and trying to see real world problems which are there, and try to see that how AI can help. There's a lot of research going on AGI, right, which is a further level of AI where it becomes even more human like. So robots coming in your house very soon, like people have cars, you will have robots in your house which will do your basic work which is related to your household work. And this is not very far actually. It's not something which a normal common man won't be able to afford. It will come to that price. uh, so I feel fundamentally everything will change. We have taken a step towards that. We felt that if we see from a first principle perspective, we actually did not see any recruitment side. We thought that this is a problem. Uh, let's think that we are building a new recruitment platform without seeing these. Otherwise, we'll get biased. And then
Mhm.
we thought that, okay, what current AI is there, what can we do with it? So we thought shortlisting is a big problem today in our company itself. Engineers are busy doing their programming. You go and tell, please shortlist resumes, and every day they are shortlisting resumes, and then there is an interview. And in that
Mhm.
interview, in the first 5 minutes, sometimes you realize that the person is not right, but you
Right.
want to give an opportunity to that person and the interview. So it goes at least for an half an hour.
Yeah.
And then after that, a few people few get selected, right? And it reverse. The candidates are looking for enterprises, and they might not uh, think that this is the right company for us, or they might not be able to even showcase their expertise within that short time, right? Some people are very good but might not be able to
Yes.
articulate how good they are, right, during the interview. So the challenges lies all sides. So we said, how can you provide them tools which will shorten this process and make it more efficient? So on the enterprise side, we created a shortlister wherein in English language you can say, oh, I'm looking for a project manager who has worked in telecom, for example. And then we said, okay, why not the first interview is taken by the avatar itself, and the basic assessment is done. Doesn't mean that we have not left the decision to the AI engine. We just provide the assessment so that a second level assessment can be done and the decision can be done based on that and the transcripts which are there, right?
Mhm.
Because leaving the decision in AI might not be right, and that's what we thought. We thought that a human should decide whether the person should uh, should progress to the next interview or not, right? So same ways we bought bots. We helped in helping the candidate in terms of what kind of courses the person should do for an aspiring role. So let's say a team leader wants to become a project manager, how can what he should study, what kind of online material or courses the person should do. In resume building also, resume builders have been there since quite some time, but we
Mm.
took a different approach and tried to create a completely Gen AI based resume builder. And the adoption is very high, is almost 70% adoption is there for people who register and they use our resume builder actually on our website. So it has been very encouraging for past couple of weeks since this has gone live, and we are adding more and more features. It will be difficult to tell what all we are going to launch because we are planning to launch something new. But our intent is to add more and more tools. Apart from that, searching for a job and finding a job and enterprise finding a candidate, that search capability is already there. But we wanted to go beyond that and provide tools to all the stakeholders.
Got it. My final question before we wrap up. Uh, what advice would you give to other entrepreneurs who are looking for ideas to make an impact in tech industry, especially using AI? So, what all new things that you are seeing, or what all technologies do you recommend them to adopt and do something new?
Yeah, so I feel with this is on the common on general public side, Gen AI is it's a rebirth of AI has happened because of Gen AI. But
Mm,
AI is much more than Gen AI, right? Gen AI is one aspect of it, and there will be many other derivatives of Gen AI also, right? At the same time, you have computer vision, you have machine learning, you have predictive analysis. There are so many aspects of AI, right? So, so there are opportunities in each of these areas or a combination of these, right? You have to pick up a real problem and make AI applied. See, AI has also become, for the lack of right word, most a term used very loosely, right?
mm,
Anybody putting any product they will write with AI.
right.
But that AI doesn't mean one can do whatever they want in marketing. But what we mean is that you can use AI to solve real life problems, and that's what I call applied AI, right? It's like quantum physics and applied physics, right? So quantum physics is very important, right? But that's where everything happens. But you need to use physics in real world where you can use it to build machines or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So there are so many opportunities. Each problem, each thing, what you see around, there is an opportunity to apply AI there. And specifically with the kind of workforce which our country has, right? We are already pretty savvy in IT, right? We have very good programmers.
Mm,
Just a matter of shifting gear and graduating to one more technology, right? Uh, so it's like there were earlier BlackBerry and Nokia app developers. They
mm,
had to move to Android and on iOS development, right? The same developers graduated. JavaScript developers graduated to Angular and React and Vue and later on for mobile React Native and Flutter and so on and so forth. So it's a evolution, right? So I would encourage younger people to take that step, right? A lot of people won't take that step, spend that time, and everybody need not develop a LLM.
mm,
But some people should do that also. But I'm just saying that there are so many aspects of AI, and today there are so many tools which enable you to develop quickly, right? And you need not go into the basics uh, and spend a lot of time in learning mathematics of it, right? But knowing mathematics helps depending upon what problem you are trying to solve. So I feel there's a lot of opportunity. The whole it's a paradigm shift, right? Uh, very few times in a person's life you get such kind of turns in the industry, right? And this is that big turn.
mm,
Now, whether you want to take that opportunity, the opportunity knocks the door and open the door is obvious. You should definitely open the door when opportunity knocks. But here
mm.
you have a chance that the opportunity is there. You can grab it and take that opportunity and move ahead, right?
Yeah, I think that's so true. And on this note, we will close the session. Thanks for joining us, Siddhartha. We learned a lot of things how new technologies are being used in remote working and remote hiring. Uh, it was a pleasure to have you on our platform, and our best wishes for all the new products that you're developing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for having such a platform for everybody to meet founders at the same time new entrepreneurs can launch. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Siddharth.